Welcome to the Fit for Halter podcast. We're here to bring practical content and community to the amateur halter exhibitor. I'm your host, Amy Zabel, and I interview people from across the halter horse industry. We'll learn new techniques, hear about the hottest products, and get to know one another. If you grow in your knowledge and we gain more exhibitors in the ring, this has been a success. It's a laid-back environment. Prepare to be inspired and maybe take some notes. Welcome to the Fit for Halter podcast. I'm excited to have two guests on tonight. I have Lisa Maxwell and Trisha Shorten Armstrong. Hi, ladies.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Thanks for being here. We appreciate you taking the time. I'll do a quick introduction of each of you and then we'll just get started. So Lisa Maxwell began showing paint horses in 2000 and has since become active in the paint horse community. She served on the board of the Missouri Paint Horse Club for several years, was a national and state director for Missouri and Oklahoma with APHA. Currently, she serves as the vice president of the Arkansas Paint Horse Club and the president of the Paint Horse Club of Oklahoma. They have had Western pleasure horses, paint racing horses, and her first love is halter horses, breeding, raising, and showing them. She and her husband have a business that specializes in industrial scaffolding and insulation. She's the proud mother of 3 daughters and a grandmother to 5 grandchildren with whom she enjoys sharing her love of halter horses. Trisha Shorten Armstrong, she has been active in the horse business for over 45 years, breeding, showing, training, and judging. She has been a judge of horses for over 40 years with 10 different judging cards. She's a licensed riding instructor and currently holds cards with APHA, the Appaloosa Horse Club, Palomino Horse Breeders of America, American Buckskin Horse Association, Pinto Horse Association, Pony of America, World Conformation Horse Association, American Quarter Horse Association, and the American Stock Horse Association. She's an APHA and AQHA professional horseman, and she's the current vice president of the Paint Horse Club of Oklahoma. She currently owns, manages, and trains at Diamond Venture Show Horses in Cushing, Oklahoma, and has campaigned and shown over 113 world and reserve world champions in 4 breed associations. So thank you, ladies. I am excited and honored that you're here. We'll kick it off with the first question. And just, would you tell us a little bit about your role within the club, the Paint Horse Club of Oklahoma, and what motivated you to get involved?
Trisha, you want to go first?
Well, once I became a state director, I'd kind of gotten out of the club. I used to be the youth leader in the old charter that they used to have in Oklahoma. Started raising more of just the halter babies and kind of got out of the training end of it. And I became a state director. And once I did, I had all these folks calling me and texting me and emailing me about how could we get a club going in Oklahoma. So I just kind of started calling everybody and had a couple little meetings and tried to get together with some people. And we set a meeting for July, 27th, maybe of last year, in Stroud, Oklahoma, and on a Wednesday night. And we got 73 people that came to the meeting. So that definitely told me that there was horse interest in Oklahoma and people wanted to get the club back going. And we had an election. And unfortunately, we had to start a new charter from the accountant's recommendations. And so we did start a new charter, thanks to Lisa, because I'm not very good at all of that type of thing. And that's kind of how we got started.
Awesome.
So yeah, Trisha got in touch with me about the old club, which I had been to a show, their last show in May, and there wasn't very much participation in it. And so we were trying to revitalize and get a place for people to come show in Oklahoma that was affordable. And I think Trisha was a big driving force behind it. And once we found out that we were going to have to start from scratch, it was a big undertaking, but luckily we had a lot of people. Like she said, we had 73 people there that night. We have a very strong board. All of our board members are they donate a lot of their time. They're very active. It really came together, and APHA was a huge help too. We had support from APHA members from out of state that were helping us and giving us advice. And listening to people, that was the one thing, is they wanted a friendly place to go show, and they wanted it to be affordable. And so those are the things that we've really tried to do. We got our first show under our belt in May, and we were very fortunate because we had a really good participation. Had a lot of good feedback from it. We did have a few little hiccups along the way, but I think we covered it and made it through. And we are, very anxious to continue that and have another show next year. And we're continuing to look for venues, and we're going to keep trying to make it affordable for people and have a lot of fun activities for them when they come show.
That's awesome. It sounds like a lot of work, but it sounds like you had a high level of engagement, people who were ready and interested.
Yes, we did. We were very lucky. Every one of our board members was at the show, helping in some capacity. And I was really impressed with how they all came and participated in some form. Even if they weren't showing, they were still there helping.
Awesome. That's great. So for listeners who may not be familiar with the Paint Horse Club of Oklahoma, being a new club, or maybe not familiar with clubs in general, what's the mission of your club?
Well, we try to put on shows and educate people about the Paint Horse Club and give a place for our exhibitors to come and be together and show their horses. And we did have a clinic last year. We did a ranch horse clinic to try to get more people to come and show, to get more people to come and enjoy their horses. We're trying to educate, entertain, and give a venue for people to come and exhibit their animals.
That's great. So in 2024, you mentioned the show that was in May, I believe. Are there any more shows on your calendar for this year?
Not at this point. We're working to try to get one. The way it is with APHA, the club only had one date that was technically ours. So we're looking to get a date approved by APHA, and also to find a venue. We're in the process of looking at venues right now. One of the great things about Oklahoma is we do have a lot of horse shows, all different breeds and everything. And also there's a downside to that. There's not a lot of open venues because there are a lot of horse shows. So we're continuing to look for a venue and get another one on the books. And we're even looking into 2025 and 2026 to schedule now.
Okay. So for somebody who may not be familiar with the breed associations and kind of the way they partner with clubs, tell me a little bit more about the date situation, like getting a date with APHA. What is that? What's involved there?
Well, APHA has restrictions on how close you can have your show to another show. Okay. So there's we can't have two shows within that are closer than 250-mile radius of each other on the same weekend. So it wouldn't be good to have a show in Missouri and a show in Oklahoma on the same weekend, because you would be fighting for the exhibitors. So they work with the clubs to keep those, to kind of protect their dates and keep it so that these clubs don't have to compete with each other. So it's finding a date that doesn't conflict with another club, and finding a venue that has an open date during that time is a challenge.
Okay, that's really helpful. I've wondered how that is all managed myself, and heard people talking about at the Illinois Paint Horse Club or Paint Horse Association, the date challenge, finding the right date, getting a date approved. So thank you for sharing that. So you mentioned looking at 2025 and 2026. Any unique or different types of shows that you plan on offering other than kind of a mainstream APHA show?
At this point, no, we're
Okay.
just looking to do a traditional show, and we would like to continue having our clinics. I forget, Trisha, how many did we have show up for the clinic?
I think there was 20, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe only 19. Someone had to cancel, but it was, and we had quite a few people in the stands that just did the audio part of the clinic. So we felt like that was a pretty strong participation. We've had some requests for some halter clinics, fitting clinics, just all around clinics for the all around horse as well. So hopefully, if we can't come up with a venue for a show, maybe we can have something, a clinic somewhere at a smaller arena or a smaller facility where people can just haul in and participate in the clinic.
Okay. Good to
What
know.
was so great about our clinic was these people were people who didn't show APHA. They didn't have breed horses. I think we had an Arabian. We had all different horses there and all different levels and skills of riders. And just learning about what it was like to be in a show atmosphere. And a lot of them bought memberships. A lot of them kept in touch and wanted to come to the shows. And so that's another great thing about the all breed is it's a step into a breed association because they can come and show whatever horse they have. And hopefully we can encourage them to step on over and buy a paint and show with us.
We tried to make them enjoy their time there as well. And every person that participated got a prize, including the people who were in the audience. We gave Gut-X away as well as saddle pads. And then we had gift certificates that were in the mailbox and just fun things that they didn't know whether they were going to get a zonk or a gift certificate. But at the end, they all got something. We traded the zonks for some feed gift certificates or such like, so, or discounted for the next clinic, or so it was really fun. So I think that people enjoyed it as well.
I think what you're sharing is going to be really helpful for not only our clubs to gain ideas about interesting things to do, but exhibitors who maybe aren't familiar with the wide variety of opportunities, connection opportunities that local clubs offer. Thank you. It's really helpful. So what are some of the biggest challenges that you've faced in launching your new club and then tackling your first show?
Well, it seems like it would be a huge challenge, but it all came together really well for us. I would say our biggest challenge for our show was the fact that we lost our show secretary a couple of months before our show. So we kind of had to hurry. And another thing, we had some great help from Diane Gage and Libby Crandall to kind of step up. And even though they had other things going on and other shows even doing that, they stepped up and helped us recover, because that would have been a huge blow to us. So that was probably the biggest thing that the challenge that we had to overcome.
Okay.
But again, like I said, we have such a great board and we have such good volunteers that any challenge that we've had, everybody has just stepped right up and made it work. Especially Trisha, she goes above and beyond.
That's awesome.
Well, I think those people are counting on us.
Yeah.
And we put those people down, and we ended up with I think 280 or so reserve stalls, which that's amazing because I judge all over, and sometimes people feel lucky at a show if they have 70 or 80 stalls. So for a 2-judge show, it was really actually an amazing feat. And we had really nice prizes. Unfortunately, we had a couple glitches with figuring out the high points and such like. So we still have some that we need to get their prizes to them, but they will for sure get them. We're making every effort to try to get that handled and get that done. We had beautiful prizes, all paid for and donated by really generous people who supported the club and wanted the club to get back going and have a place to show here in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
And Trisha was responsible for our color award, which we did. And it wasn't a class. It was just an award that she discussed with the judges beforehand. And she wanted them to watch the classes and if they, to pay attention to the color and to pick out, judge the prettiest horse, the one that was marked great. And they didn't have to enter for this award or anything. And the judges announced, we gave out a halter, was it Western Pleasure,
Yes.
and Ranch, I think.
We had 4 color awards.
And English. And after that discipline was over, they would confer and decide which horse would get it. And so we wanted to reward color because that's been a big thing in APHA, especially now since they're allowing the solids to show in the color classes. And we wanted to go ahead and reward color. And I thought that was really cool. And that was all on Trisha, and she picked out a gorgeous prize. And we plan on doing that again. We would like to make it where we did it at every show.
It's a great idea. And what a nice surprise to have not entered the class, but be surprised that was the way the judges selected your horse. That's awesome. So on the flip side of the challenges, what were some of the most rewarding aspects of your first show and being involved in the club?
I think one of my favorite moments was we gave some random saddle pads out, and this little girl got this saddle pad, and she may or may not have been able to afford that fancy of a pad, but if you would have seen the smile on her face, it was when just randomly her number got chosen to give that award. It was really cool. And we also had the Sunflower State feed company donate a ton of alfalfa cubes. And so people randomly got out a 50-pound bag of alfalfa cubes, and as well as little samples and other prizes. We had duffel bags, and we had a board member who made some really nice tea towels, and she made all kinds of different little things that we gave people randomly. And it was just fun to see what their face was when they got something they didn't really expect to get. And everybody seemed like they pretty much got something. So even if they didn't win the class, they got a little prize, which was fun.
That's awesome. Well,
yeah, I would agree. Definitely watching the youth and amateurs get excited when they, won something for the first time or got and the limited buckle went over really well with people. And we had halter buckles. We had an open halter buckle for all of them. And they were gorgeous buckles. So it was really fun to give out stuff and watch people enjoy it.
And one of the girls who won the limited ranch buckles, she used to show way back, probably 35 years ago or more, and hadn't shown until just recently at the show. And that was really kind of fun. She was thrilled to get that buckle. So hopefully we'll have even more limited buckles for next year and be able to expand that just a little bit and encourage more new people to come in and be able to feel comfortable that they can show against people of their same skill set that are just also new beginners.
Mm-hmm. Neither of you are new to the horse industry and showing. What are your thoughts on maybe some effective ways to get new people from sitting on the sidelines into the ring? I realize there's a wide span of time and money that takes you from the rail to the ring, but any thoughts on ways that clubs or other exhibitors can help get new people into the ring?
I think particularly in halter, I think that the BHF and the WCHA have made a huge impact in that, because I have been talking to people and like, I'm thinking I'm going to get me a halter horse. I think I'm going to try it. You know, you can go up there and you get to win money, and there's the DIY class and the non-pro, and it's more that people are able to do it on by themselves. So without a trainer, they feel confident now enough to step out into the ring and do it on their own, because they want the DIY class and they want the non-pro. So I think that the both of those associations have done so much to encourage other people to come in. And social media has been great, because everybody's always on there saying, I took this course and I won, and they promote it. And they promote the youth. This new class that they're having at the BHF with the junior halter for kids that are younger, and allowing it to be like a lead line halter. I mean, I think that's great. I think that is definitely a way. There was so much excitement over people like, oh yeah, I want to do that. Because that's a big fear when you throw a small child out there with a huge horse. So I think, I have to give credit to both of those in helping. They're helping our clubs and they're helping our industry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good. Any thoughts, Trisha?
I think the clinics also will help people, because some of the people, they just don't know. I just did an e-show, for example, from New Zealand. And interestingly, those folks want to do it, but just nobody's ever helped them. And I think just helping the people to learn, okay, you've got to fit your halter, or you've how to bend their horse's manes, or the lights are so important, or just things like that, the feed. And a lot of people don't know, but there is a lot of interest in the halter all over the world, as well as all the performance classes. But I think the clinics will help people know, oh, maybe I can do this. I just need to practice banding, or I can hire somebody to band, or maybe I just need to leave the lights on from 6:30 till 10:30 at night. Those types of things where they just don't know. Nobody's ever helped them or told them this is what they should do, or how to set one up, or that they get a deduction in showmanship when they rest a foot. So I think those clinics will also help. And I agree with Lisa, those programs like the BHF and the WCHA has really helped tremendously in the halter side of it, to try to get people feeling comfortable. And a lot of people can't ride, but most of them can lead something in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's really helpful. So we touched on this a little bit, in fact, just now, but maybe specifically, what is your vision for helping the new club in Oklahoma, or in the paint horse community in general, grow in its membership? Have you guys discussed that at a board level? How to get new members?
Well, we're always discussing how to reach more people and get new members, and have the activities to have them together. I think that as we move forward and we're able to get more shows on our books and more clinics, I think that helps grow. And we also have some social things that we've done. We had a member have everybody over to her house for Christmas, and did a gift exchange and had a really good time. And so we're there was a lot of youth there. We're always looking for ways. That's a challenge, I think, for all clubs everywhere, to increase membership. And like I said, you have to make people feel comfortable, and it has to be affordable.
Yeah. I think you touched on something that I've heard several guests talk about. And when I was doing some research prior to kicking off the podcast, the notion of helping people feel comfortable, and just helping people when they come to their first horse show, being a welcoming community that helps give direction, help people unload, being willing to answer questions when new people come by and are curious about products that you use. I think we have a very welcoming community And in conjunction with that, people who are very aware of the need to be inclusive. So I just appreciate, I know what I hear in the Midwest, and I appreciate that the same kinds of conversations, there's a lot of continuity in the same kind of conversations and leadership that are happening in your area of the country as well. I feel like it's just a unifying factor to the clubs and the folks who are just earnestly passionate about the halter horse and the industry and helping it grow. It's good. I appreciate it. So what trends or developments do you think will shape the future of either the paint horse or in general, the stock horse halter industry? Trends or developments that might shape our future?
What do you think, Trisha?
I think the idea that WCHA and BHF has with the form to function is really an important goal, because we need horses that not only are pretty, but that they are correct, structurally correct. They are able to move. And I think that that's a really promising thing if they'll continue on. They do have the lunge line as well as the ranch rail, both in BHF and the WCHA. And I hope they continue it. I hope that's something I think we need to go back to and really look at the longevity of these horses, that these horses can not only do weanling and yearling futurities, but they can also do some of the older futurities like Don's trying to get in his classes, but also be able to ride and do some things other than that. Maybe the performance part for both those associations would be a good thing to bring back into it as well. Of course, I'm kind of from the old school, being born and raised in Montana, and my first world champion, I showed him in the Hunter in her saddle in the same show at the World. So, and he was 8th. So my point is, he ended up being a world champion Western riding horse, a world champion working hunter horse. Those horses, if they're bred correctly and they can and managed properly, they can go on and be performance horses and be productive in the future as well. And that's, for me as a breeder, that's my goal. My goal is for people to have horses that, when they're aged horses, are still out there winning. And I raised the world champion and the supreme champion color horse at the Pinot this year, and it won also, I guess, in 2022 or whatever. But that's what's fun, is when you can raise one that can go on and do something and continue to do something for the future. So I think that's a good goal for all breeders to have, or trainers to have in mind, that these horses are not disposable diapers. They need to go on and be something for the future for someone else. And when they're older, they can be some little kid's horse, like Lisa said, the BHF having an opportunity to let a child show an aged horse. That's really amazing. And those older horses will take care of those little kids.
It's true.
And I would agree with Trisha that especially in the halter industry, that we need to give our horses, they need a job past the age of 2. We need to try to lengthen them out, and they can move. They need to have a job. They can be broke to ride, and they're great. I think my daughter, she breaks all of our halter horses to ride. They all need a job. They all need a purpose, and they're happy doing it, and they're beautiful under saddle. And I love the fact that they do keep promoting the performance side of it, so that we can keep them going, because we don't want to raise throwaway horses.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's good. It sounds like, from your perspectives, the BHF and WCHA are pretty influential in the rest of our industry. I guess on kind of connected to that, how do you see the work that you're doing at the club level being influential in our industry? Perhaps sorry, I lost my train of thought. I was thinking about the impact that we know is happening at the WCHA and VHF, and just kind of thinking, but I guess we've already kind of talked about that a little bit, how your club and the work that you're doing is impacting the industry. Let's just transition because lost my train of thought there. You have heard feedback about the cost of showing and low numbers in halter classes, which before we started recording, we were talking about some of the great numbers that you saw at your first show. So maybe that tide is changing. But how does a state club impact those concerns regarding cost or low numbers in a positive and productive way?
One of the things that we've been working on as well is a 5-state fraternity, which is going to be more of a local breeders type fraternity. So that person who maybe only has 2 or 3 mares, and maybe they're from Arkansas, can come to a central location and show their animal and get rewarded that horse has been bred and raised in Arkansas. So in doing that type of thing, we're hoping that will encourage more new people again to stay in it, and people who think, oh, maybe my baby can't go to VHF or WCHA, but maybe if they show at that local level first, then they'll feel comfortable. Yes, I can go. And so we're working with Go for the Gold and their stallions, and that's more of a local fraternity. It's going to be held this year at the Color Breed. And so hopefully we can try to get in our 5 states, we're thinking Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, and Louisiana. Texas does have a lot of big breeders. So we want to try to help some of those smaller breeders in some of those other states. And maybe that will be just a small part of trying to help encourage these folks to be able to go to some of these bigger venues and feel comfortable. Yes, I can. I won. I was the High Point Oklahoma horse, or the High Point Arkansas horse, or Louisiana. And I think that might help both the stallion owners as well, because most of those are eligible for all those fraternities, and that way new people will feel comfortable that they can get in, maybe win a little money or some prizes. And so hopefully we can get that in the works and get that out and get it presented where people will feel good about it.
I also think that the program that APHA is coming out with the paint points is going to help us a lot. It's going to put it back comparable to like what the Breeders' Trust did. You know, there was a time when people were hauling for Breeders' Trust points, and now we're hoping that they'll haul for paint points and get some money back that will help alleviate their costs. Mm-hmm. And we're trying. I know all clubs are. This is a conversation that we have with all clubs, is how to keep our costs down. The facilities expenses are extremely high right now. Mm-hmm. We're all trying any way possible to keep our costs down. We're looking for sponsorships constantly. We're trying. I think that some exhibitors get a little upset when they see the cost of things, but we're not making huge amounts of money. We're trying to keep the cost down. We're trying to have an affordable place for you to come and show.
Mm-hmm.
And we're very strong. I think Lisa feels the same way. APHA, this year, the board of directors and the officers are really trying to help the local clubs. And we feel like you can call them and talk to them if you have a problem. And I think that's going to help, as well as those paint points for money. And I think that'll be a big shot in the arm for all the local clubs. And I think our club is a good example that it can be done, because we now have around 143 or so adult members and 11 youth members. Of course, we want to increase that even more. But, that's really good from just starting in 1 year. And basically that's what it's been, not quite a year.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic.
I think it's encouraging to other clubs because there's no judge wants to go somewhere and judge and the show be over by noon. That's not what we want. And neither does the exhibitor want to haul all the way and only have one horse in their class.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They want to have a good time and have some fellowship with their friends and, see good horses and feel like they're competing. And so we want to try to create that type of environment for them. The Oklahoma City Fairgrounds, they really tried to help us, which we were really grateful for that and in helping us put that show on. And hopefully they'll even get the facilities even better than what they have. Maybe if they get the prices down a little bit, that would help. But
sure.
But
the date of your show in 2024, that was so first or second weekend in May?
Right.
The second weekend, yeah.
Okay. And are those dates secure for 25 for the same weekend or same general time?
Yeah, we'll have those dates again next year. We do plan on having the show next year.
Okay.
And we're looking forward to, it was a joint show with the Appaloosas. And we're looking forward to working with the Alps and working with WCHA and trying to put on another good experience for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So is there anything else that you want our listeners to know about the Paint Horse Club of Oklahoma?
Well, I was going to say kudos to all those show people out there, those show managers who put on these shows, because it is a lot of work to try to put on those shows. So I really have a good appreciation for them now. I thought the judges had to work hard, but those show people, management people, they really hard. So.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, definitely having a good show staff is important, but we are looking forward to the next year, and we're looking forward to, we're going to try to have another clinic this year. And like I said, we're looking for dates. We're looking for venues. We want to have a couple more shows and add them to our schedule. It's just going to take us a little bit of time to get back on our feet.
Sure. How can this listening community, Fit for Halter community, help the Paint Horse Club of Oklahoma?
Mark that May show down on their schedule.
Okay. Okay. What are the dates for 2025?
Well, let me look and see. I don't have them. That's bad. The corresponding dates in 2025 would be, it'll be the 9th, 10th, and 11th of May.
Okay. 9th, 10th, and 11th of May in Oklahoma City?
Yes, it'll be at the Oklahoma City Fairgrounds again.
Okay. All right. Good to know. And it's Paints and Appaloosas?
Yes.
We are planning on doing another joint show with them. It worked out well for them, and it worked out well for us. And we're looking forward to working with the WCHA.
Okay.
Hopefully, we can all benefit with each other, because working together, of course, with these clubs, especially with the expense, it helps everybody, because our costs are split. So we really want to continue working with other clubs, because we want to see the other clubs. We don't want to see anybody struggle. It's rough.
So help us understand, if I'm attending your show or I decided to attend the WCHA show, how do I manage participating in both? Like from a
we do not schedule our halter classes at the same time, so they weren't conflicting.
Okay.
That is one thing that we worked out with Dawn in advance, was that our halter classes would not conflict.
Okay.
So he doesn't have paint classes. He at that particular time, he did not have paint classes at the same time that our halter was going. And that was a learning experience for all of us. So we're hoping to integrate even more and work together even more for next year.
Okay. So it's feasible for me, if I'm eligible to show at the WCHA show, to also show my horse if I have a paint at your show at the same time.
The
same
WCHA
place?
show was a regular paint show for halter horses. You did not. He had
Oh.
WCHA classes, but you any horse could show there.
Okay.
He did have
Okay.
WCHA classes for those stallions, but anybody could have shown and got points there, which again,
Okay.
next year, those would be eligible for the paint points, and you could get paid to come show. And
Okay.
you would have Dawn's set of judges, and you would have our set of judges to get paid for.
Wow.
So six judges total in one place. And our entry fees were very reasonable. Dawn's regular class entry fees were very reasonable. So hopefully, more people will participate in both venues, and they can. And we're going to try to work hard with Dawn about the schedule so that, people are allowed to do that without any issues. And I think that people had a lot of fun over on our side as well. And they had lots of fun and money over on his side. So I think it was good for everybody. It could even be better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it sounds like you have a team of people. Your board will work very hard to polish everything up year after year just to make it better and better. Well, thank you for sharing. So tell us, how can listeners find out more about the club and get involved potentially?
We have an active Facebook page and a website where we try to keep updated with anything that's going on. And as you heard when you listed off Trisha's resume, she's out and about quite a bit. And she's willing to answer anybody's questions. And, you'll see us at shows around. All of our board members are more than happy to engage and try to help people come.
And I think all of our information for all the board members, as well as emails, phone numbers, are all on the website. Mm-hmm. So they can email any of us and we'll be happy to answer any questions, or we are really wanting to help anybody and everybody get more involved with us. We would love that.
Well, it's evident that you are welcoming and inviting, just from our conversation. Thank you for your time. We appreciate it. I think you're going to be an encouragement, not only to the exhibitors, but other clubs who hear some of the challenges that you've had, some of the victories that you had, and just a reassurance that there's not any one club that's struggling more or less than another, that everybody is working hard to bring as much value and community as you can to the show. So thank you for spending your time. We appreciate it. And again, you're on Facebook and your website, right?
Yes.
And your show next year, at least one show that you're having, will be that second weekend in May. All right.
Yes.
Well, thanks to both of you for joining us. We appreciate your time.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Hey, if you're an amateur or a professional willing to share your story or bring content that helps us with our halter horses, you can email me at fitforhalter@gmail.com.